once again, the majority of those risks will all be dissipated once we approach this from a DAO management system. The actual risks that I'm worried about are, once again, because part of the value of Whale is dependent on the NFTs in the vault, it's, the real risk is, number one, are NFTs going to flourish in value in the future? I think so, right? Putting my money where my mouth is. The second thing, are the projects that are represented in the vault going to succeed and flourish in value? Once again, so far, I think I've done pretty okay. And then after, the third thing is, is the NFT community going to embrace Whale as a means of payment and transaction? Once again, we already to date have 20 amazing creators and platforms who have said that they will be accepting Whale when it launches. And I'm just so humbled by some of the names on those lists. And you guys can check it out on our Discord.
What are the token economics of Whale? And basically, what does the token actually do?
Gotcha. So splitting the question into, I guess, the two parts. The token economics of Whale are that there's going to be a total of 10 million Whale that's going to be minted. Once again, this is a standard process that Roll uses. 10% of that total Whale is going to be reserved for chief partners who helped me be able to launch this project effectively, as well as help me manage this project effectively moving forward. Just FYI, but my chief partners are NFT42 on the technical side, Ikaitsa on the creative side, nonfungible.com on the auditing side, and Roll on the community side. So once again, you got 10 million Whale, 10% of that will be reserved for chief partners, 40% of that will be reserved for market making. And then after that, I will continue to hold on to 50%. But once again, we'll be open to selling this to the community if there's a strong demand and request to do so. Once again, this is not a fundraising activity like an ICO. The vault is already there. And this is just my way of sharing that journey with everybody.
So let's dive into the Whale utility section of the white paper. Going through the 5 points in the utility section of the white paper, the one that really stood out to me was number 2, and it's how Whale can be used to purchase certain NFTs within the vault. Why is it certain NFTs and why is it not all NFTs in the vault?
Gotcha. So once again,
All right. What's up, guys? We are on now for the what is this? Roundtable number 7, Will?
This is number 7. That's correct.
Yeah. So roundtable number 7. I'm doing something a little bit different this time. I am actually live streaming on YouTube.
Nice.
From the land. So the people of YouTube are going to be able to see the picture of me on the land. They're not watching the Zoom call that you'll probably see on Will's podcast a little bit later on in the week. But we definitely we're trying to find good ways to expand this. Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's actually a couple of things I wanted to talk about today. So I listened to you guys talk between Frankie and Anorak, kind of debriefing on a couple of things that happened this week. So let's run that down real quick. So we had the Decentraland Business Conference happen, and then on Friday we had a little musical kind of event happening on the what was it, the London Underground?
Mm-hmm.
That was the name, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, we were just talking kind of offline a little bit, and Boss was saying that the music caught him off guard a little bit, and so did me. Like when I heard it, I was like, "Whoa, this is more like acoustic, like a different kind of sound that we're used to in Decentraland." All it is like mostly like trap music and like techno stuff, but this one was like a pleasant surprise. And I think she was giving away music too, right? Did you guys happen to go to the website and check it out?
I did today, not during the event though.
I
don't know if anything changed.
I got 2 songs from her the day before because I did the interview with her, so I wanted to listen. I believe the album should be up soon enough or something like that.
You kind of remember the points from that conversation, Frankie? I happened to miss it.
The conversation itself, yeah, we were all over the board.
Yeah.
it was a fun conversation because we really were just I do music stuff, so to me it was.
I did today, not during the
definitely
event,
just second nature. I was asking about how their writing process and our vision, our thoughts on just general creativity. So it was a very podcasty style of thing, and that's the way I like to do my stuff that way.
You think they're going to come back to
I would
do
love
more?
them to come back, and I think they will. Yeah, absolutely. They're actually good friends with Tune, so that I'm sure they'll be back sometime soon.
You have more experience like with creating music than probably a lot of us on this call right now, but I would imagine that it takes quite some time to create like a song, right?
It depends, yeah. I mean, it's funny. After that interview, I wrote something up. You know what I mean? Because I was just in the mood. So if you want to go check that out, you can hear it on my Instagram. It's just a quick rap. I just do. I don't really write songs no more like that because I don't know, I'm just not into it no more like that. But I do love rapping, so I did put something up.
Yeah, and we also experienced a little kind of glitch thing for Decentraland. When we were there, I think it started to populate, and then all the avatars started to flicker, and some were like kind of disappearing. And I don't know if that was
I had nobody for a while. It was so funny. At some point in the thing, it was just me and KJ in there, and I'm like, all right, I got to refresh, man. I know there's so many people in here.
Yeah.
But
I was just afraid when that was happening, like I would be like just standing like right in front of someone or something. They just didn't even know it, and just they thought that I would be like creeping on them or something. But yeah, it was interesting because I would refresh and everything would kind of go back to normal. But it kept happening though.
Yeah, I was afraid to refresh because I thought it would just pop me into a different server where like it was empty, and so I just dealt with it.
But I'm always scared to refresh for that.
Yeah, but it was packed though, and dude, that's the Decentraland marketing, right? If they send that email out, you're gonna get like a good amount of people on that parcel.
Yeah,
and like we're so used to being like in larger parcels, like in Decentral Games parcels, like they're so huge. Like this one was like 2 parcels big, and there's like a good amount of like concentration of people there.
Oh yeah, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, man. Like a lot of chat going back and forth. I'm telling I-Man to do a stage dive. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait till. I mean, I know we're going a certain way with that, and that's just a lot of fun to me. So that's cool.
So then on top of that, Toonpunk messaged, I think a couple of us, or you put it on Discord or something, that new emotes are coming on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
He
told me that before, and I didn't want to spill the beans. You know what I'm saying? So I was like just holding it until somebody else knew.
It was a little awkward, like listening to that music, and then like they would finish, and it was just like silence. It was like usually it was like clapping and like screaming and stuff.
Yeah, but I think that we have like an opportunity to do like me and Anorak talking about the hearts, man. Like we really think that could like be the thing that we have that shows love that way.
Yeah.
So it could be like not even an emote, but more like just a heart that goes over your head, like bling bling bling.
Sure. No, I totally agree, and I guess that. One of the questions that I had was like, when are we, the community, going to be able to like develop some of these emotes, right? Because once you can create an emote, then you can control the bones of your avatar, like in game, for like a specific purpose. Maybe you want to sit down, or maybe you want to aim down sights for a game, like Corona Zombies, right?
Yeah.
At that point, we should be able to manipulate the bones to any degree we want, right? So, I'm curious to when that's going to happen.
And it's just another way to monetize.
Dance Will's break dance up in there.
Yeah, boss. Yeah,
it's just like it opens up an entirely new market. I personally would love to trade. I would pay like decent amount of money for like cool emotes, especially if they're scarce and they have the same type of breakdown as wearables in terms of like how much supply and that kind of stuff.
They would be for a moment. I mean, if you think about it, just like I don't know if you guys play. I play a lot of 2K, so I have like a lot of reference to NBA 2K. But in NBA 2K, they have all the time dances, and honestly, a lot of the back in the day dances as well. So if you were to capture that moment, like there's this dance out now, and then you made the dance. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so many like pop culture emote references that we can upload to Decentraland that it would be pretty easy to like really populate that market. Could be good or bad. I guess it depends.
We'll see how
yeah, Fortnite did a really good job of capturing all the pop culture like dance moves. Have you guys seen those? Yeah,
that's how a lot of their stuff went viral, man. Right. All those kids dancing and stuff like that.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think they did have some type of competition where people could submit them I don't know what the details were, but I think you could, like, anyone could submit one to be included on the actual game for everyone. So I think that was pretty cool.
I also remember that Fortnite went through some like legal troubles with like owning the Carlton dance and like Orange Justice and all that.
Yeah.
So I don't remember what happened with that, but I wonder, like, Clark would be a good one to kind of take here. But if we start taking these emotes and start putting them in Decentraland and selling them, I mean, do we have implications there for copyright infringement? But I guess ultimately it'll be difficult once everything's actually decentralized, which is one of the things I wanted to talk to HP about. He's supposed to join us today, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to. I was in contact. Like I said, me and HP were trying to figure out video for this podcast, and we were so close, but we couldn't figure it out all the way or to what we wanted it to be. And I think he and I both lost sleep like crazy. Like, I mean, I was up at some weird hour in the morning because we were working on it earlier, and then I was like, I got to get some sleep. I'm literally falling asleep at the machine, and then so I went to bed. I woke up 2 hours later, like, I'm back, I'm cool, and then I wasn't, so he did a little bit more work, and then I fell asleep. So I feel like he maybe went all night and then fell asleep minutes ago, or something like that.
So you were able to get it to work in the preview, though, right?
He was really able to get it to work. I was having a harder time. And I needed a little bit more help from him. I honestly don't know why it wasn't working for me, but I was able to get the code from the docs working, but HP jazzed up some fancy shit, and that was a little bit over my head. So I'm still working on my coding skills. I'm definitely not HP level,
Yeah, him and James were trying to get that to work. They were trying to bring it from the preview to like in world, and they were saying something was up with like the link breaking or whatever when they were trying to make that jump.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm trying to share the YouTube link on YouTube.
Oh, okay. No, but yeah, I feel like we'll have it figured out by the end of the week. That's where I'm thinking we're at. I was just really trying to surprise you guys and just have video up when you guys walked in on the land, and so I like hit HP up early in the week, and I'm like, hey, you think we could figure this out before and it wasn't even that. No, it wasn't even that. He brought it up because he was saying, do you want to broadcast it as a video? And I'm like, yeah. So we're talking it over. I'm thinking he's talking about something like I'm doing right now, like have it on YouTube, and and then as he's like describing what he wants to do, and I'm like, where are you talking about streaming this to? he's like the land. Oh, okay, yeah. So we tried, but I'll try to get video, at least some sort of video up on my parcel for the end of the week. I know I got things I want to do.
That'd be great.
So we'll see.
It could add so much, not even to like base an entire scene around like some sort of like video stream, but like even someone like Bows could throw that up in his casino and have like a live performance going on in the background, like that Fortnite video with Steve Aoki I sent some of you guys on Discord, where it's just like a screen with graphics around them. I mean, it's totally doable for Decentraland, and
I think that's something
just to bring people into the casino. Have like some Post Malone concert, like he was in that casino. Exactly. I remember seeing that video. Just have that on the background. You can set up a stage
where the back part of the stage is screen, and then everything around it is stage, and it would look good,
Yeah, and you can just stand there and gamble.
Doable. And super doable. Right?
Right now, I'm trying to kind of devise like where in the casino I wanted to throw like these screens, because I want to do a few of them. I can kind of just toss them all around. I was thinking like kind of in the upstairs area, just because
make people walk.
We kind of want to just we just want to have more interactions up there, just because most people just chill on the downstairs. So we kind of felt like in the middle, in the north wing, like upstairs would be a good location. But right now I'm kind of working out what orientation we want, because I also want to do, I have a few other things in the works to add up there. I want to do kind of like throw in some like machines that you can like, anyone could like sell NFTs or something, stuff like that, and just open it up and just let anyone kind of use it if they want to like announce something or do like an auction or anything like that would be ideal, just to get more people in there for other reasons other than playing the games, just to have it like a versatile kind of space. So
I'm
yeah,
wondering,
I'll
my
keep you guys
question
posted.
is, with video is would I be able to wrap this globe with it? Not that I'm going to, but would
I don't
be,
think so.
no?
I think we were trying to do that just to see what the limitations are. I don't think you
Exactly,
can
yeah.
wrap it around anything yet.
All right. Just a thought.
But I think it was Anorak. I don't know if it was you who either saw this somewhere or had this idea where you can make an entire wall in a building this video screen, right? And then in the background of the screen is like sort of like a green screen. And then what you would do is you would video yourself in front of this green screen, and then the green screen behind you could be like a PowerPoint slide, and then you could physically be present within Decentraland in the video format,
Yes.
and like be standing there as if you're in Decentraland as a human, right?
As much as I'd like to take credit for that, I don't think that was me that brought it up. But that's pretty damn cool, though.
Yeah, I don't know where I
That's
saw
cool.
it. I could have sworn that
Yeah,
I found it somewhere or something.
it's like that video of the professor that went viral a couple years back, where he like pranked his class and he like walked. He was like on the screen and walked out from behind the projector, and there he was. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. I'll try and find the video.
Oh, but
It's exactly what you're talking about, Will.
I've seen it in the NBA though. Like they're showing like the NBA court, and then I think Chuck or somebody goes behind the screen and he enters like the court to show some.
Kenny does it. Kenny. Yeah, he does that.
Is that
he, like runs over to the
you're
screen.
talking about, right?
Pretty much, yeah. It's the same thing. Yeah, dude, that'd be sweet.
I could see that happening. Like it would be just something interesting. I mean, all it is a video live streaming, and then you're doing a presentation, and then you just putting that video within Decentraland. So there's no real magic there, but it would be kind of trippy to walk into this like conference room, and then you see like a human, kind of like at your height level,
Oh
yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
that'd be hilarious.
Yeah,
anything that allows for a little bit of creativity,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot coming up. There's going to be a lot of fun to mess with. I mean, and that's just going to be, that's what it is. Because what the biggest, not the biggest thing. I wouldn't say the biggest thing, but one of the things that I love about this, and I've been reaching out to a lot of artists, and I think I'm going to be doing a lot of interviews with a lot of artists because of this. Because I want them to feel comfortable to bring their video art. A lot of these guys have video art. Josie. The guy that I'm working with, I'm talking to, I believe his name is, I can't pronounce it correctly. It's like Rico, something like that.
Video art,
digital
like
art,
GIF art.
Exactly.
That's Alex Shell's art.
Sure.
That artist that you've been in contact with, Will. He does a lot of stuff like that, where it's like progression art, and it's an entire GIF, and he like draws little by little, and then it takes shape at the end.
Okay.
Or like we can't even display anything like that.
Exactly.
Even though he'd want to do stuff with us.
Yeah, so you could do video like Josie had sent the what was it called? I'm butchering the name right now, but it's like the name of it was Yours Truly, that painting or that artwork that she did, and that was a video with sound. So that video with sound would be able to be played in anybody's parcel and displayed, and so I'd like to be able to do all that, to display all that kind of stuff and bring artists and have them become like rock stars essentially here, So
yeah.
1 second.
Yeah.
Dude, we've talked about that before on here, where like there's a real market for someone to come in and really make a name off themselves in here.
Yeah.
Like be like a Decentraland musician, and you can blow up in Decentraland. Like, I mean, shit, like I just am on social media, and I have like 300 more followers from my Decentraland social media than I do my personal stuff. It's like if someone like me can do that on Twitter, why can't a musician do that with their work and their SoundCloud and stuff?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's still a market for it.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, Tune had 100 people in there yesterday.
I know.
Like,
a lot of them were guests. A lot of them were guests. I feel like they just came to see the musicians too.
Yeah, and they stayed. We were deep in there, man. I stayed in there all the way into the end, as well as a whole bunch of other people. Yeah. So we're that's gonna be something we're gonna be able to use to our advantage soon enough.
So I want to talk about the progression of Decentraland in the last, I would say, month or so. And my question is, we know that Decentraland is going to come up with updates to the map. We got a chat system, private chat system, friends, and there's going to be like a cohesive like interactivity just with the chats and the maps, right? So, and then we know that video is coming. We have audio now.
Yeah.
So once that's complete, what's next? What are the critical like pillars
Making
that are
it
going to
big.
stand up?
I mean, at this point, for me, it's gonna be breaking it. Watch.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my mission every week. Break it and make that.
No,
we
absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, we should be
Yeah.
doing that every single week. But my question is in terms of features, like what else is missing besides
Oh,
what we're working on?
one of the artists mentioned gifts. We should have gifts, like definitely.
Yeah, gifts. And then, Will, I don't know if you just mentioned that in your spiel there. I was loading this Trello page, but friends list. I think friends list is the next big thing.
No, but Will's saying
and then
what would be
like
after
voice. Okay, that's what I said. I
Okay.
couldn't hear if you said that or not. I guess voice chat. I mean, voice chat's the thing that most people ask on Twitter. I posted that stuff of the video stream today
True.
of
I saw that.
HP, and tons of people were saying like, "Is voice chat available? Is voice chat like Discord today?" There's people asking if you can chat with people that are near you. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the next big thing. And I know that it's difficult to implement.
Yeah.
But even if we can chat with people that are within like 2 meters of us or 3 meters, I mean, that's the next big thing.
Yeah, I'd
should
like to see it be
cool.
a very local situation. I would,
Yeah,
because
for sure.
especially since I do these things and you would have things with, for instance, 100 people in that little club. If we had voice chat, you wouldn't be able to hear the music.
Yeah, there has to be like a
gotta
setting.
a way to like, or even like in Second Life, there's only some lands. Remember this? There's only some lands you can voice chat on, and then some lands you can't voice chat on. And maybe there'll be things like that, like the owner of the land would either allow or disallow voice chat, and then lands that didn't specify or didn't have builds on them for sure should just be enabled.
Yeah.
Is there anything on Trello for voice chat right now?
Nah. There's
We're
not.
just making this
I don't
stuff up
think
like
so.
it's happening tomorrow too. So we got Open NFT just showed up. What's up, man?
What's up, Open? How you
There we
doing?
go. Trying to figure this out.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Yeah, we hear you.
Cool.
All right.
What's up, Open?
dude?
Open. We're talking some features that you want to see put into Decentraland here. The next up, we're talking about friends lists, voice chat, and stuff like that. Is there anything that you have in mind that you want to see implemented here in the next month or so? When it comes to socializing, voice chat, and stuff like that. Is there anything that you have in mind that you want to see?
Open. You want to mute the browser?
Yeah, I
it's,
got it.
Yeah,
I heard you. I heard you, Anorak. Yeah, no, I saw Ebriel's post on Twitter, and I thought it was real interesting how he showed kind of the screenshots of the chat, and I thought it looked pretty cool. I think that's going to be super exciting, especially. I think you said earlier how people in Discord were asking about that specifically, just how they can interact in game, and I think it'll be a super game changer once they implement it. Hopefully.
Another thing I know is a ridiculous thing that seems like it's not important, but sitting and little like things like that, interactivity, maybe pointing. I saw I was watching a stream. Me and HP were working on the video thing, so I'm sitting here watching a Grand Theft Auto game, and this guy's like kind of like running like it's, I don't know. It was interesting what he was doing. He was kind of like cinematically playing it, and he's pointing all over the place. And I'm like, we need some good points. I like that. Point over there, point over there, It's good.
Yeah, I think that'll come down to the emotes itself. But I think when it comes down to sitting, there's so many chairs. Like I think somebody submitted a chair to MetaZone, and it's like a throne that has like these tentacles that are moving. So sitting in that chair is going to be different than sitting in like the standard wooden chair that you'd find in the builder assets, right? So there's got to be something where maybe clicking on an object allows you to manipulate the bones of your avatar for that specific chair, and then it could get really complicated from there.
Well,
because then you could click on a bottle and then you can like grab it and
that's kind of what I'm talking about, like interactivity that way. So when you go to the bars, we have like 17 bars right now in this Decentraland, so we might as well be able to hold the bottle, drink, get drunk.
Right.
I'd like to see get drunk.
That'd be an emote, like a stumbling emote.
Oh yeah, have you ever played Saints Row? Dudes get like trashed and can't do nothing. And like, I can see that. I like
is sitting even in the works or thoughts at all?
I don't know. We're just coming up with stuff at this point.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
No, because I remember the round table you guys found it at some parcel, and I thought that'd be fucking stupid cool if you could all sit down around it.
Yeah, like Clark's table that he put in at the neighborhood scene, where all of our names are at that wooden table.
And all
which
he
we
would
just
have
got
to
all
do,
those filled.
all he would have to do is like make some manipulation of the bones of whatever somebody clicks on it, and then you can just sit at the 8 chairs that there is there, right? And it shouldn't be complicated, really.
Yeah.
But getting that functionality from Decentraland, it just depends how long it's going to take, right? And obviously, that's not like the most critical feature, right?
That's what I'm saying. It's not like the most important, but these things are things that the reason why we talk about it is so you get those juices flowing, and if it wasn't brought up in a prior conversation, then that's why we're talking about it.
Yeah,
it's not like I'm saying, we need this to be here yesterday. We're doing pretty. I feel like we're going at a good pace. For me, I know everyone is always super like thirsty is the way I say it, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's like, you know what I mean? Like there's always like want more, and I get it, but you gotta let people work too.
Yeah.
Is it possible to throw mana at someone just like at Cryptovoxels, how they throw color? You think it's possible eventually just kind of, make
I
it rain
think that's
mana?
actually a functionality
cool.
that would be coming in-game like transactions, right, Will?
That's I don't know, man. That sounds really tough to do, actually.
I feel like I heard about that as a thing. Like there wasn't. I didn't make
because
it up in my brain.
there's actually 2 transactions happening, right? You're doing like an emote, right? The tossing of a coin, right? That's just an emote by itself. But then the actual donation of mana to an individual, that's a gas transaction.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about wallet to wallet. Like if I walked up to you, I wanted to give you money, or I wanted to pay you money for your your wearables, stuff like that. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, throwing the money or whatever. I don't care about that. But like the actual transaction.
I noticed how he was kind of just saying, "Hey, you need this. Like, you want to color the wall? Here's 5 color, and you can do what you want with it real quick."
Yeah, I saw that really too. Yeah, it is cool. I just don't know how feasible that is in Decentraland. How everything is set up. But you should be able to click on somebody and then donate directly to that person.
Yeah, that's on the Trello there. In world trading.
Oh, so that's actually good. So in-world trading means something specific for Decentraland. It actually means in-world trading is going to happen within the Genesis Plaza, which is going to be updated like next week or something.
Nice. Okay.
And so from there, you can actually trade NFTs without any fees or anything like that.
But it wouldn't be. It's not trading them for money. It's trading them for or for as
far as when I had a conversation with Augustine, it was like a trade, 1-for-1 trade.
Oh, okay.
Now it doesn't mean that they can't update it and allow people to sell stuff through there.
Yeah.
But that's from what I understand.
That would be great if it was mainly in the Genesis or even just the Decentraland plazas. Because it gives people a reason to be there,
Exactly. That's exactly why they're doing it.
The market, almost like its own marketplace, and like kind of like have its own bustling.
And that's the purpose of doing it in Genesis Plaza is that if the transaction is free, it gives people an incentive to be there because it's free, right? Yeah. So, and then on top of that, Genesis Plaza is going to be focused on onboarding new people who don't know anything about blockchain, and so through there they'll be able to understand like what is Bitcoin, what is blockchain, why mana, what's Ethereum, what's gas, all that stuff.
So devil's advocate though, now you got all these new users and a bunch of goons just running up like, hey, buy my thing. Hey, I got these hats, I got these glasses, I got some gloves.
Yeah. Hey, but that's what it's like in real life anyways, right? So
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
There's a big time wave.
I'll be out there selling my shit.
Just standing on the street corner, like need tickets, like the need tickets guys.
I got hoodies.
Yeah, scalping mana hats.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that will be cool. I'm anxious to see. Heard a lot of rumors about the Genesis Plaza stuff, but it's gonna. I mean, like we're saying, it gives people a reason to be there, but I mean, it also gives value to the land that's been bought around that stuff. Because right now, like, what's the point of being next to one of those plazas? It's just a bunch of stuff from the builder that's just kind of plopped down there.
Yeah, I agree.
And you see a lot of new users coming in. They're like, well, why do I want to be near a district, or why do I want to be on the road or anything like that? And it's tough to explain to a new user, like, well, you're buying stuff for the future, like 2 years, 3 years, 5 down the line and stuff. Like right now, I can't give you a solid reason other than what the future is going to look like. And how do you justify spending 80K mana on a roadside parcel near a plaza when there's nothing there?
I've given up on that idea. I'm just glad I never fell into that.
On what?
I feel the whole
Buying
roadside,
proximity.
the whole proximity to the middle. You know,
Well,
I've seen.
there's Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead, Frankie. Make your
I'm
point.
just saying, I've seen what somebody can do with just doing. So I don't, you know, I don't really. If it does get to that point, I think that you would be able to still make more mana with doing, and then end up just being able to buy them at the higher prices if you did stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
so I really don't. I don't know. I don't know.
I think you're right.
Not for now. Not for now. I mean, yes, I see it in the future. Yes, if for instance, if we were packed right here, and I couldn't even barely even like get to the block runner tower, and then you know everything was hard to load, then being next to a road is going to be obviously ideal.
Yeah.
You know, and
there's
to me,
definitely
loading
roadsides
issues as opposed to be about be about just like you up and look and like, oh wow, there's stuff here, you know, but more like, man, I'm not walking through all that because I know it's going to load crazy, you know?
Yeah. And just to clear some stuff up, you will be able to cut through different lands and stuff. Like, you're not going to be anywhere where you're blocked off. They're providing like corridors. No, but I've just been seeing chat and stuff. So whoever's out there listening, like, you're not going to be boxed off if you're not on land. There's definitely landside or roadside parcels that are just straight trash, right? Like, why are you buying a single roadside parcel where it's all the way southwest corner? But I do think, like, if I can be on roadside next to Vegas, like where Baus is setting stuff up, or on a double road across from like festival land, that's the stuff that matters. But if you're just going to buy a parcel in some desolate area just because it's on the road, like, that's where you're messing up.
Yeah, I think that in the future you're gonna have a lot more things in proximity to people that are doing things that bring action. You know, So
which is the neighborhood project, man.
The neighborhood project. You know, Will's place, Baus's place, my place that people go to. You know, Toon's place that he's got going in Festival, like you're saying. You know, you're gonna start having hot spots that are hotter than other spots, and then those people, you know, you're going to probably want to buy land around that because they're already bringing, you know, people to take a look at whatever you got going on, you know?
I really feel that they did a lot too. How you can kind of find the places and stuff. I was on it for like an hour a day, just clicking the yellow spots. I never even been before. It made it really easy.
Yeah, that's true.
What the Jumpin feature makes the proximity of the 0-0 location a lot less valuable. I remember the day where they announced that you could drop in anywhere, and it was like pandemonium in the Discord because people thought that you're only going to be able to drop at 0-0, and then they came out and they were like, said you could go anywhere. And if you look at some of those past, like the historic sales records of within like 0-10 or -10, there's like 2 million mana sales.
Crazy.
Like, man, no one would ever pay that right now. But there's like multiple million mana sales
and that's
for that
the reason
area.
why you don't see a lot of, in my opinion, that's the reason why you don't see a lot of building in the middle of the map, because people paid crazy money for it, and then they're like, I'm not putting nothing there. I'm gonna wait until I sell that thing or whatever, you know?
For sure. Open, where's your land at?
I have them just kind of spread all over. They're mainly by Dragon City because I got in later than you guys. So I kind of had to go farther south, you know, down there. The Vegas stuff was just simply incredibly priced.
But you know,
I mean,
another example open is you like being able to set up an art gallery and stuff like that and still be able to create traction to your own place that's in the middle of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what I think that, you know, is your hustle is gonna show out, man. It's not gonna be about, especially in the beginning. Maybe later on your location will be a bigger deal, but right now your hustle is your number one most valuable asset.
Absolutely. I totally agree with the whole the teleportation thing, because I was afraid that Decentraland was going to put flying into a possibility, and I was like, shit, man, our block runner thing is going to like break if everybody just fly, right? But then if you could fly and you can actually control whether you can fly on a parcel level, then it wouldn't break anything, right?
Like
So
no fly zones, you'd be like,
no fly zone. Yeah.
fall on the floor. They should give a falling animation for that. So like when you fall, you actually fall and like,
Yeah, for sure.
funny.
Like a wipeout.
Can we add some comedy? You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. You know?
And the other thing was, well, I forget now, but essentially the whole roadside situation. I knew that the value that roadside provides is so incremental. It's so incremental that I think once Decentraland is completely populated, I think the roadside parcels are going to be just a smidge more valuable just because it's so easy to access.
No,
but that's about it.
When the time comes, it's gonna be good money.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to wait. It's not that ain't land. You just and you get lucky if you flip them. Yeah, earlier. I mean, but those you're gonna hold on. You're gonna hold on the value of those. But if we do populate more completely, it'd be a lot better to have roadside stuff.
So switching subjects now, what was your opinion on the Decentraland Business Conference?
I mean, I loved it.
Hey, you know what? The work that you did for the audio is underrated, dude. That your job was an audio engineer. That takes a bunch of work.
Yeah.
So
that was awesome.
Thank you for controlling all that stuff, dude.
Absolutely, definitely. I mean, it found like it was cool because I'm able to talk to you guys while you're talking. If something comes up, and then try to fix it. So like in the middle of Tox Sam, and I apologize, Tox. Or Sam, whatever what I should call you, but
Daniel.
it did break up a little bit in the middle of his presentation, but I was able to recover because I believe Ty from So You Club, he let me know that it was messing up. I'm like, cool, and I fixed it, So I did, we're doing the best we can. We're getting used to how things work, and that's me. I'm also checking in like when I'm doing that. So I'm doing that. You guys are talking. I'm switching back and forth between our audio that's playing in my ears and then the audio that's playing on the land to make sure that everything's going right.
Yeah, that's crazy amount of work, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're just doing it.
That's huge.
Yeah, I thought the conference took a big step from the first one. I mean, the first one, how many times were we like, okay, everyone reload, this slide's not working, this audio, this or that.
More than important.
I mean, this time there was hardly anything like that.
We started on time too. Like we started like when we wanted to start,
Yeah, we still got to figure out a way to like add some stuff in there. Like some sort, like I brought up the point of like having those pixel boards in there where people could like be messing around, just something to engage people while they're listening and just kind of keep them there for a little bit longer. But I mean, there's just still like, I mean, it's the second one. It's just like we were talking, Frankie, me and you last night about the concert. It's like they could have had this up or that up or little stuff. And it's like, well, it's the first one, conference, second one. I mean, just baby steps. Let's get everything working correctly and then do stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even with Maddie, like Maddie was so much more confident coming in. He's like, man, I think we know what we're doing now a little bit, And so, he wasn't as nervous as the first time when we just didn't know if the whole thing would break, So it's, it feels better to know that have a better, at least a general understanding, like, well, it's not going to break. Things are working. Things worked last time, and they're working better this time, And little by little, we'll continue to get better, And again, with the conference, I'd love to add video, like, as soon as possible, And I think that since we do have Nico helping out with that, I got to imagine that we will be able to do that sooner than later.
Yeah, because if you add video, then all you have to do is share screens, and then you can have like a more complicated presentation using Prezi. I don't know if you guys ever used Prezi before, but it's like a really advanced version of PowerPoint.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does is like it gives you a huge canvas, and in that canvas you can put like pretty much anything from videos to any visual assets that you want, and then you travel. As a camera, you travel along that canvas and zoom in and zoom out, and you can get like extremely detailed. It's like it's a hugely dynamic presentation. It's significantly better than PowerPoint, right?
I got you.
Yeah,
pretty cool. Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, so you could just share your screen, and then you can kind of like flow through these presentations. So
yeah, I think adding video to the presentation would make it much more smooth too. Yeah, and like you said, just adding like all these different types of features to help present rather than just slides.
Yeah. I was trying to think like, how do you like with what we have now, how do you improve it? but I couldn't think of a better way than what was done. So that was like the most optimized that we can get Decentraland to get to for presentation. So yeah, I think overall it was great. We should have that more often, and then obviously get more companies outside, of Decentraland to start presenting their stuff too.
Oh yeah. And,
Yeah.
yeah. It's going to be a great
That's
platform for people to be able to show their stuff. I'd like to see us also get to the point where, because this is only about money, this is not even about nothing. Well, we're using 3D models to show what these companies are looking to do. So if a company wants to, let's say it was a car company, and they're showing off some sort of like thing, you could make a literal 3D model that goes into the middle of the room that everybody would be able to see and highlight it and then point out things on the 3D model. That's why that's what Decentraland can do. This is the most, to me, like that's the strongest use case for having a 3D world that you can present, business in. It's like, well, then you'd be able to use 3D models to present that said business and their thing,
Yeah.
Definitely.
Can you pump in your new
What was that?
I was just messing with Frankie. He was talking about a 3D model car and his new meta coming out. So
Oh yeah.
Oh,
We didn't mention the car.
Oh,
Yeah. So
I think it's sick.
thanks, brother. So basically, that's a partnership between me and Catherine and Fran, her partner from Low Poly Models, and basically, what happened was, I had her build my building. I had her build the DCL is yours meta, which is just like a high end meta that I could care less if no one buys. It's my just like something personally I love. And then so after that, she had come to me and say, I want to do a car. And so, we had thought about what the car should look like, and I kind of gave her a couple ideas, and then we ran with it. And the thing is amazing looking. It's a parody of a concept car that exists in the world, and she knocked it out the park. Or they knocked it out the park, because I don't want to take any credit away from Fran. But they're amazing. I'm going to be working with them on a bunch of stuff, and I'm lucky as hell to be working with them for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think KJ and probably Fran, they're the ones who are making all these like cool buildings for Decentraland, right?
They helped out with the London Underground building as well.
Oh yeah,
that building's awesome.
We've got something hopefully coming soon that is going to be mind blowing, and that's like an understatement, So it's pretty cool. A bunch of cool stuff. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah,
kind of be like wrapping about into. All right, go ahead, Joel. Sorry.
No, go ahead, boss.
I was just saying, like, what you said in terms of like features that we're excited to roll out past like these initial ones that we're just discussing. One that's kind of overshadowed a bit right now is the improvements to the SDK in general. I think like the shared state within a scene is going to be huge. And like just any tools to build multiplayer experiences, I think is going to be really important for game developers. Just because, like I feel like, to do that right now, you have to have pretty decent knowledge of how to set up like a server app and, use Node and stuff like that. And if they just bake that right into the SDK and do it for you, then, that just opens the doors to a lot more of these multiplayer games, which I think are really good for like, longer sessions.
Exactly.
Gives people like an excuse to socialize. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, boss,
would like
I
to
wanted
see
to ask
people
you
spending half a day in Decentraland rather than an hour and a half.
Dude, we still have that soccer tournament that's like 4 weeks away on the events page. It's like that.
Oh
yeah, that World Soccer Tournament. Like, what is that going to be like? Going off the multiplayer thing, like if you go on the events page, it's going to be hosted at the Moonshot Arena, that soccer arena that was involved in the treasure hunt. And it's a world soccer tournament for like June 5th. I think it's like scheduled to start when I don't know if this was like a World Cup year or maybe for the Olympics. Maybe it was supposed to be like an Olympics thing. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on the events page.
That's crazy.
That'll be cool if they pull that off.
Yeah, I've got to check that out. I did not.
But is it going to be like a video? Let me check and see if it's still here.
That would be awesome if it's actually in World.
Yeah, June 5th, Moonshot Crypto World Cup. And it's a a weekend of virtual soccer, 5-a-side tournament with NFT and crypto projects battling it out to be the winners of the first Crypto World Cup. And it runs from June 5th until June 8th, Friday to Monday.
I don't want to play though.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna be in the crowd. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? We
like,
actually do have a huge crowd for that, and then they can't really play because it's lagged out.
Yeah, that's a shared experience, right?
Yeah.
Oh man,
that's something that we need like 200 people in a realm for. Like that's when it looks cool. When there's people on the field and then there's like other avatars in the stands.
They have a huge stands over there. Like you could hypothetically,
you can run through
stands. Yeah.
Moonshot was the first place that I saw another avatar in world. I just stumbled upon it and there was someone just like running through the bleachers and the stands. And
let me tell you about this the other
stumbled
day.
onto the field.
So Anorak had just got his laptop the other day, right? His brand new laptop. And we were talking in Discord, and we were not anywhere near each other in the land that we knew about. Now, I had gone to Genesis Plaza for no good reason at all. And I'm just climbing a mountain. I look over there, I'm like, this dude with a mariachi hat. I think that's Anorak. And I go running after him. And sure enough, I found Anorak in the game. I'm like, what's up, homie?
But this is after I was like, hey, Frankie, I got to leave this Discord chat. My new computer just got here. And then I was checking out my new computer, and within like 2 minutes in world, you rolled up on me. You're like, yeah, you can't avoid me. You're trying to dodge me in Discord. No, it's cool. The friends list is going to be cool. I kind of knocked on it when it first came out, and I wanted to see some stuff before friends list, but I'm starting to realize like all this stuff is just about relationships. Like that's what's going to keep you coming back more than making money is the relationships you build with other people. And the number one complaint I think that we see is lag and not seeing anyone else in world. And if you're able to log in and find people, I mean, it's going to be pretty cool to be able to just see who's online and who's doing what, where, and all that.
Right.
Yeah, especially with that map update. I mean, imagine if you press M, Frankie, you'll pull up the entire map on your screen, right?
Yeah.
And then just imagine you'll see a bunch of red dots
That's
like just scattered everywhere.
Yeah.
Like
that's gonna. You know what would be cool if you can roll over their name and then you just see. I mean, roll over their dot and find out who the name is.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So, boss, I had a philosophical question for you. So, in your perspective, Decentraland, is it a world that is set up for developers, or is it set up really for like the common person who doesn't know how to develop to create stuff? Like, what in its current state, what would you say is Decentraland set up for?
I feel like they're kind of trying to do both. And I know you guys talked about this on one of your podcasts. I think I remember listening to. Will, I think it was something around like how you guys wanted more development in the SDK as opposed to the builder. And I definitely agree. I think that's ultimately what's going to really result in the most users eventually, just because the developers just have the best tools to make stuff. I mean, you look like what he comes about on the board, it's like these richer experiences, and you can't really achieve a richer experience at the moment with the builder. I mean, you can mess around and place things in areas, and I think that's important, just because so many people own land and not many people know how to develop it. So I think like a simple builder makes sense, but I think I personally would love to see a lot more robust features in SDK and like kind of a focus on that. So to answer your question, I think and their approach, I think the stress on the SDK is the way to go. But I don't know. I mean, it seems someone who is working on it from the team, isn't there only one developer working on the builder at the moment?
Oh, that's a good question.
He said there was like a team of like a few, but they go at a third at a time. So one person will handle 3 months, another person will handle 3 months, stuff like that.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I think it was.
go ahead, boss.
Shit, where is he? No worries. I was just saying, like, I think they have more guys working on the SDK. Yeah. But I do think the builder is at a simple level is important, just because land ownership is so wide and people need to have like a simple way of just deploying some stuff. Yeah. So
I have another question. So I
Okay.
made this comment, I think maybe a couple of days after launch. And if you go to a random location in Decentraland, there's typically just green grass. And my comment was that I'd rather see a bunch of green grass than a bunch of builder stuff, right? And the reason is because it's not to shit on the builder to any degree, because I think the builder is important,
Yeah, it's got
just like you're saying,
potential,
boss. It has potential, right?
and
But what
honestly,
I'm
well,
saying is,
yeah,
well, I'll just finish with this thought is the reason why I like the green grass is because it leaves Decentraland open to the imagination. Because if you start telling somebody about Decentraland, that you get to own stuff, you tell them everything that you can about Decentraland. They have this preconceived expectation about what they're going to see once they jump in. And if they jump in and they see a bunch of builder stuff, that expectation is just gets shot down. It's like, oh, this is it. This is what you're talking about owning stuff. Like, so, but if they see green grass, they're going to understand. It's like, oh, there's potential here, right? You can build anything that you want, right?
Now, what I would say,
and that's why I like green grass.
Yeah, what I would say, like,
Yeah, I agree with that.
To counter that a bit, because honestly, I was completely right with you, Will, all the way up until the conference, and then when I heard Josie talk, I realized that there's got to be room for artists to be able to do for themselves. So, like, Coney's here now, you know what I'm saying? And like, if these guys could just pop in, start popping their art on stuff, and that looks super cool in Builder because they're artists. I think there's a level of the builder needs to be something, you know what I'm saying? Like, it needs to be available to somebody that can add a different element outside of what we add, like with the SDK, with just these like really cool ideas, but then they have just really cool like artwork, and they can just plug and play it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I agree with you, Frankie. But I think that could be achieved with something not like the builder though. That could be achieved with something like MetaZone. I think where someone would easily be able to just like, if they have art, like they could just toss it on like a meta that's like a gallery if they want, and without using the builder, without coding or anything, and then just deploy it. I think something like that could be a pretty good like offering for someone like that.
Another thing is, I think most people that build in Decentraland would have no problem building for any artist.
Yeah, that's true.
Make
Yeah.
something happen, you know. So if you just think about it, like in a, like more of a like a business kind of relationship, like I would have no. I mean, I'm a little bit busy, but if somebody wasn't that busy and they had the opportunity, I'm sure they could definitely have no problem building for any artist, just because we know we can make something happen with that, you know.
And the other thing is, I think Decentraland, its potential still hasn't been unlocked. And what I mean by that is we can actually have a voxel builder within Decentraland. Just somebody needs to make it, right? That's the point of the SDK. That's why Boss talks about it a lot. That's why I talk about it a lot, because if you don't allow that capability, that flexibility in the SDK, which you can, we know we can do it, right? It's just there's some aspects of it that prevent us from doing it. But once you do it, then you can have a voxel edit in Decentraland. It's really up to the developers to build it. Like Decentraland, the team, they're that's not their responsibility, right? It's our responsibility.
Yeah. And I mean, once the DAO's lies, Wait, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna ask Open, because you've uploaded some metas, right? Haven't you uploaded a couple metas, Open NFT? Didn't you put like a bed set or something?
No, they're actually not the metas yet. I was going to work on that actually tonight. They're actually just the frames at this point. I was waiting for Corb to really tweak those to see if he could implement any kind of buying structure. But we just, how we spoke about that earlier on the donations and stuff, it's not quite in there yet. So I didn't know if I wanted to waste too much time on that yet, because it's really just an updated frame, essentially. So I might not do that. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. So I'm kind of more excited for streaming at this point.
Have you been working in Blender and stuff, or
I have actually. Me and Frankie were talking about that the other day, and I've been messing around with it. And I'm going to have my little personal thing coming out, hopefully on MetaZone soon. But of course, I have to hold my hand again for a while, and I know he's getting tired of it.
So how long have you been messing around in Blender for? I always like to ask people, like
4 or 5 hours under it right now. That's about it.
Okay.
Because
I always like to ask people how long it took them to get comfortable.
Yeah, the donut video helped me the most. I think Frankie mentioned that one also.
Everyone's seen the donut video. So well. Yeah. I think Frankie was saying that the other day, where these Blender videos are like 7 minutes long on YouTube, but you watch them for 4.5 hours because you're breaking down every single click that they make the whole time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool to see. I mean, we've kicked the idea around a lot. We really should do some sort of a Blender competition and just announce it and then give people like 2 months to do stuff. Like, it doesn't have to be a week, but
I see what you're
I mean,
doing.
I'm starting to mess around in Blender too, and I actually found a bunch of old builds that I made of like 6 or 7 shapes all thrown together from, I'm assuming, what was the first builder contest back in like 2018. But it's cool, like everyone kind of motivates each other, where I'm seeing Clark Kent make stuff and I ask Clark Kent, I'm like, all right, how long did it take you to make this? He's like, well, 2-3 weeks of really grinding. It's like, I got 2-3 weeks to grind. Yeah. Clark's a smart dude. I mean, most of the people involved in this stuff are all pretty smart people. But everyone, like, once you see people that were never working in Blender before and you see them upload to MetaZone, you see them publish to Twitter and show their stuff off, it's only going to be a domino effect. I mean, it's going to inspire everyone else to start building. And if we do a competition like that, where there's an actual incentive and not just doing it because you want to,
that competition,
we might be able to pump some cool stuff out.
A decent prize on that,
Yeah, I mean, that's something that you got to talk through because, I would like to see a lot of smaller stuff for it to motivate more people, because if there's one big prize, the same stuff's going to happen as the builder competition, where it's like, shit, I don't know Blender, I'm not going to win this prize. But if you have like 10, 15 decent prizes, then you're going to motivate more people. There's going to be more of a hope factor. But we got to do something like that. Some sort of competition. We've been trying to do a lot more free events and stuff, but if we just open something up for like a month or two and just create stuff in Blender, even like the wearables we were talking about, might be able to onboard even completely new users that know how to use Blender but aren't familiar with Decentraland. So there's something there. We just got to figure out the right way to do it.
I'm still surprised how basic the questions are on Discord. How just like, how do I get mana? Just simple stuff like that is still.
I love those questions.
I
love them.
Deal with like okay, people within the crypto space don't really know that much about Decentraland, so you couldn't even imagine a regular layman to just be like, oh yeah, hop in here and know stuff. So you really got to kind of, me and Interact talk about that. You really got to walk people through, and a lot of times, like I was saying the other day with Interact, actually, I got a kid that's in my Twitter DM a lot, asking me about where to buy mana and how and stuff, and I'm walking him through like he's my little brother or something. I mean, I don't even know this person. But,
I spent like 35 minutes in World with someone today, taking them to different parcels of land that were on sale because they were looking to buy land for the first time. And I was like, all right, now let's teleport to this one. And he's like, all right, how do you teleport? So then I'm like, all right, you got to do this, that. Do we teleport to the next scene? He doesn't make it there. I got to DM him on Discord. Hey, bro, where you at? What happened? But it's just stuff like that. I mean, if we can run all the events we want to, but if we neglect someone who comes in and asks the very basic questions, we're letting everything down. We're letting all the hard work we do go to waste. I mean, that's the most important thing, is onboarding new people. And when there's silence, when a new user comes in, I mean, what are we doing? There's plenty of people in there that can answer basic questions.
Yeah, it's like we were having this exact same experience. Those newbies in Decentraland, they're asking the most basic questions. We were DMing each other back and forth about CryptoVoxels. It's like, how do you build stuff there, and how do you how do you chat with people there? How do you do all this stuff? It's like, hey, dude, and I made the comments like, whatever we're experiencing right now, there's a lot of people experiencing the exact same thing with Decentraland.
Exactly.
And
we're all there
I'm
once,
sure it's just a matter of going to their site, looking at their documents, and understands like, oh, these are the basic flexibilities that you have in CryptoVoxels, right? And we just haven't done that. But that's sort of the point. It's like you have to just sort of just jump in and figure it out yourself, because like I try to put myself in the person who's going to see the Decentraland Business Conference, right? They show up, it's like, okay, this is like a standard conference, right? They have people talk. And it's all of a sudden it's like in this virtual world. But imagine this guy who's there for the first time, like walks out the building and keeps walking, right? There's like green grass, there's other buildings. Like imagine what this guy's like experiencing, understands like, hey, this is an open world and and then you can build anything in this open world.
Yeah.
Like that's really what we're trying to, I guess, encapsulate with everything that we're building, right?
Yeah.
And it's sort of like if you watched Ready Player One for the first time, like every single scene is like something amazing. So that's sort of like what attracted us here in the first place. So it's just interesting going through all those like waves of like not understanding like what everything is and like experiencing it again in like a different universe, right?
Yeah. Dude, I found out about Ready Player One after Decentraland.
Really?
You can imagine how I viewed that movie. I was like, well, first I found the book because I told one of my coworkers about this stuff and they had the book in their desk and they're like, dude, I just finished this book. It's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
I read this book. I don't think I've ever read something so fast. And then I saw the movie and I was just sitting there with, I think, a smile on my face the entire time. Like I couldn't believe it. It's like everything that, and this was 2018. So I had been around Decentraland for an entire year. This was like the end of 2018. I was like, oh my God, like this is literally everything. I was watching the movie unfold. I'm like, wow, this is like the different districts and this is what we could be doing. And it was crazy.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. You're right. I mean, people experiencing it for the first time. That's what we got to show out for.
Yeah. In 2018, there was nothing to jump into in Decentraland, right? It was just a map and like a bunch of sales, right? That's it.
Dude, all it was DCL Plazas. DCL Plazas, Rio's site was like the only place that you could find information. I was just talking to him the other day about it, and he's updating his new website, and he sent me a sneak peek of it, and it's going to change everything. Like it's going to change like how the different metaverse projects interact with each other, because it's not going to be just Decentraland. It's going to be everything on there. But it's fantastic. The website's great. But anyway, that was the only thing that you had. Like all this information on districts and stuff, like we complain about the team not communicating with us now. Imagine that in like the very beginning when like, what do you communicate about?
Yeah,
exactly. Rio had write-ups on every district. Every district, he had a mana to USD calculator on the top bar. It's cool how far we've come though.
Yeah. I joke about it all the time, how I used to just walk the grid. And I'm like, walk the grid and walk the grid and walk the grid. Like, there's nothing going on. And I pull up on the block runner.
It wasn't even grass, dude. There wasn't even like a default landscape for the longest time. It was just like grid, like
that's
you're
what
saying.
I'm talking about. Just walk the
grid. Endless grid.
grid. Just
and you could walk into the negative areas. I don't know if you still can or not. I haven't tried, but you could walk into like negative 200 if you really wanted to. There's no block at 150.
You can keep walking out there.
So what are your thoughts on a day-night cycle? Nobody's talking about that.
Oh my God, I love that.
How do you do that when there's people from all over the world?
Yeah, so
run
you would
at
have
UTC. Run it at UTC, man, and let it just be at UTC.
Okay, no, that's cool.
Well, then
I think 2 days, 2 nights, like you said, Will, would work throughout like a regular day. Yeah. You'd have a
2 days, 2 nights. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with that too. A 12-hour day.
If you do UTC like in midday, it might be completely dark in Decentraland, right?
I mean, to you,
so like,
but to Rio, it's a whole different story, And so, that's the beauty to me, especially because I do interviews and stuff, and I'm always trying to make these times, So it almost would help, because if you knew that 10 UTC was going to be dark in Decentraland, then you're like, okay, cool, they do their show at nighttime in Decentraland,
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I'm just putting this together now. Boss, you're in San Diego, aren't you?
Yeah.
How early was that business conference for you? What time did you have to wake up for all that? Like 4:30?
Oh, no, it started at 7 a.m. So it wasn't horrible.
Okay,
I mean, it's early, but it's because it was 2. Yeah, because it's 7 hours off currently of UTC.
Okay.
But it's been weird adjusting, just being back here, because I was for a year posted up in Europe, and that just like that time zone is so much more ideal for everything, all the events that in Decentraland. Yeah,
definitely. Open. What were you gonna say there? I kind of cut you off.
Oh, it's okay. Actually, I had a question from earlier for Boss. We were talking about the video streaming, and I'm not too I don't know about the code or all the specifics in there, but will you be able to live stream video like on the walls inside the casinos by chance?
Yeah, that's what we want to do. Right now, I'm trying to figure out. So first, I mean, I got the test seed working with the video, and and then the next step was just to design like in Blender like portions of the casino where a screen would go, then kind of scan everything and make it make sense. And so that's what I was working on, this last week. And then so this week, I want to dive into actually putting the video on the actual screens that we kind of devised in the scene. So yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I think it's going to be possible to just stream video. I think you'll probably just have to set up a similar architecture as we did with like the audio streaming from the server.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely doable. Yeah, I mean, Frankie already has gotten far with that.
Yeah, I was close, man. I was so close.
Yeah, but you won't be able to put like a display within the wall, right? Like the walls, you have to put something on top of it, right?
I think you would just be able to push that thing. Like for instance, like when I had today, my little deal was like right around here, I think, right? Let's say it was like right here, right? And then if I wanted to just change the position to right over here, I think that'd be no problem,
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like the actual wall can't be a display. You just have to put,
Man, I was hoping that because I wanted to wrap the globe, and I'm like, because if you could wrap a wall, you'd be able to wrap the globe. But nah,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it'll just be a rectangle on the wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
It won't be like the whole wall. Yeah.
Because that'd be interesting. I mean, imagine outside of this building, Frankie, that if the wall could be the video, like you would just have a bunch of cutouts, right? And like have the wall moving, right, with the video.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
As if it was like projected onto the wall,
Yeah, exactly. And that's originally that's what I thought it was going to be, but I don't mind whatever it's going to be because I'm sure we can find cool ways to implement it. So I'm not even tripping. I know it's going to be good.
Oh, absolutely.
I love how Interact's being a moon boy right now with his wearables.
The
wearables Grinch himself.
Yeah,
pun intended there for the Astro suit.
Didn't you purchase like a set recently, Anorak? For like
I did. I only wanted the helmet out of it, but I had to buy the whole set.
Did it like a true hustler.
No, I still have 3 of the 4 pieces. I bought the whole barbarian set. All I really want's the helmet. So actually, Normanol here is wearing the pants from that set. He got it for. I'm just dumping them all for like 50% below the market value because I just want to get rid of them so I can just have this helmet. I do like the barbarian chest stuff though. Not a huge fan of anything that are shoes though, to be honest.
Why do you like the helmet?
See these numbers right here? Hold on a second, man.
So the helmet.
Look at these shoes right here, man. These are the best shoes going.
The helmet. I had that initially. That was like the first mythic I bought, I think, right after the treasure hunt. And I ended up selling it, and I sold it for a pretty good price. But since I've sold it, I've always had seller's remorse. Like, I think it looks so good with my coat of wonder and stuff. I just think it's a good fit for what I walk around in.
Yeah.
And I always see Normanol wearing that helmet everywhere, and I'm like, God, like it looks so good. Like I really wish I didn't sell it. So for the longest time, I've been waiting to buy it again, and finally had an opportunity. The guy I bought it from was trying to just liquidate everything, the whole set, so he could buy some land that he had his eye on. And so I kind of lucked out. I got a good deal on it.
That's good. I mean, if it worked out for everybody, that's really good,
For sure.
That's cool.
For sure. Yeah, so I just I don't know. When I buy wearables, I'm not buying stuff that I think is going to appreciate. I'm just buying stuff that I want to wear.
Yeah, that's how I would take it. I mean, I'm still rocking like stock clothes.
Well, that's your look now,
contests
man.
And stuff with the stock clothes.
That was so funny. The fashion show was so funny. He said Will. I forget who it was that picked Will, and I was like, Will.
Yeah.
It was
Will. He's like, yeah, this Matrix looking guy. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, that's your guy.
It goes so well with like the move that you do, Will, and you're like
it does,
about
right?
to like kick someone.
The Neo.
The floating move.
So real quick, did you guys get a chance to take a look at that whale token?
Dude, I'm in the Discord. I've been meaning to really look into it, but I really haven't
Can
gotten
you
around
explain
to
that?
it.
Andrew,
Like, what's going on?
what's up?
No, can you explain the whale token? Like, what's going on?
So
with it?
okay, so
I'm not
what it
familiar
is
with it.
it's whale sharks, basically NFT investments, all in one wallet, as
Oh, that's
far as I
right.
understand it.
I remember that.
And then he's gonna base the whale token. I think he's making 10 million of them. Whale token is gonna be based on the value of that wallet. Let's say, right?
I see.
It was a really interesting. The reason why I bring it up is what I'm going to play next, after we get off of here, is going to be the Andrew Steinwald interview with Whale Shark, and I did listen to that before I started this, and I thought that was really interesting. I'm probably not going to get any whale token, but I think it's an interesting thing. I think it's a good thing for the NFT space, and so I think that Yeah, I think that
As much as I love art,
something to know about. It's not something I don't think any of us would have to deal with, since we all are already invested pretty heavily in NFT, the whole community itself, But
So I guess what's the function of the token? It's just a piece of ownership of the entire wallet.
it's a piece of ownership of the entire exactly. So he's out trying to buy the most rare, the most expensive, and things like that.
Okay.
And
That's interesting.
it's like your piece of that collection, and there will be a DAO, I believe, involved that would help make decisions about what is going to be bought and sold, or whatever, however the moves they're going to make with their giant wallet of rare NFTs.
Yeah. I just got a message from HP.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read it real quick. He says, "Super sorry, could not join earlier. Is it too late?" I mean, we got 22 minutes left, right?
Let's
Bring him on and just let him talk. Let's just all sit back and let him talk. For real, I want to hear this guy so much.
Let the legend live, man. For real.
Seriously, it's so cool to hear and see everyone, especially like, and who'd we have on last week? Dennis and KJ, like people that are always in Discord that you never get to hear or see.
Yeah, it was good to see KJ.
I'm shouting at him. I'm shouting at him now.
Just bring him on and just, what do we want to ask him when he comes on? Like, we got 22 minutes.
Whatever he wants to talk about is good.
Just say go.
Yeah, go.
You the one who originally posted all those screens in your post, Enric?
Yeah, that was him. He posted it in the events. He must have been really sleepy when he did it. He posted like 3 videos in the events channel on Discord and then went, oh, oops, this is the events channel. Thought it was general. And he posted all this stuff in there.
Like I said, neither of us slept.
Dude, there was like 3 videos. Yeah, there's like 3 different videos. I picked the one that had the least amount of swearing in it. Like the Twitch streams that he had on the video boards, there's a lot of pretty bad language.
That's how you're supposed to play video games, man.
Hell yeah, but I wasn't trying to put out a parental control notice in my tweet, so I just picked the one that had
my Twitter is you better know, if you're even looking at my Twitter, you might get cussed out. So
that's all right. Hey, got what, 15, 20 retweets and damn near 100 likes. I think I got the most engagement off that, just comments based. There's tons of people that have never engaged with me on Twitter that were commenting on that.
That's great, man.
It sounded almost like he was changing the channel, like on each
screen.
He
had like his cursor, wherever his cursor was is where the sound was coming from.
Oh, that's
which is awesome. Dude, I'm telling you, like, that's going to be so cool. Like, I mean, I said it earlier and I was kind of joking, but like, what are you ever going to have to leave Decentraland for if I can have a sports game, the Bitcoin price chart, Netflix show, and whatever else in the background? If I can have that all on my computer screen and I don't have to have like 3 or 4 different monitors for that, why the hell would I ever leave Decentraland if I can just watch all that stuff at once? I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Like,
that's true. I mean, especially once VR supported several years down the line, right? Then you can have all these screens like in your house. Yeah. And then you don't have to like spend so much money on getting actual screens in your actual house.
I'm just, as a sports fan, I'm just so excited once sports are back and during football season, if I can have 4 different screens and have football games streaming on all of those, like, dude, that's going to be awesome. I'm just going to sit here and veg all day. As soon as I figure it out, you might see some
Korean baseball up in my building.
Who's watching that, man?
I'll
We're
watch it. I mean, I didn't watch it
boot
yet, but I'll watch it. They have the most epic bat flips. You see them? Like,
Yeah,
they
but
throw
it's
the
bat
bat.
flips at 3:30 in the
Great.
morning.
Yes. I love it.
Russian badminton.
What was that?
Russian badminton.
Russian badminton. Dude, they had the 2006 hamburger eating competition on ESPN last week.
Oh, rough.
Oh, really?
Like,
Damn.
like, okay, hamburger eating competition, cool. 2006? Like, we gonna get 2015? Like, what is this?
There's truth to that.
No, but so what do we want to ask HP when he comes on? We want to ask him about video
About
streaming,
video,
or
yeah, I would say that's
Mhm.
probably the most pertinent thing right now.
if he comes on, if he makes
Yeah.
it for this next 22 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he hasn't like 100% confirmed, but I told him to come in.
Yeah.
He's typing something. He's installing Zoom right now.
Oh, okay. He must have uninstalled it because he zoomed with me like 2 weeks ago. So that's how HP don't play, man. There's certain things he don't want to mess with. You know?
What a
Hey,
grandpa.
Will, I have a question for you on the gas fees. Say when you buy a Meta, is there a base gas fee that's just implemented in the code when we like just essentially press it? Is that why it's taking so long sometimes if we don't actually raise it up?
Yeah, so there's a correlation between like what the price of Bitcoin is right now and like the inability for people to purchase metas at the cheapest gas fee. And so because like there's so many like transactions happening on Ethereum, like miners are just not mining gas fees lower than 10 cents. It's just they're just not doing it. Just because there's enough people out there paying more in gas fees, right? So I think right now it's probably better for you to like raise the gas prices to like the medium tier, and then even then it's going to take several hours for it to go through. So yeah, it's a struggle. So we're trying to kind of mitigate that too, and Boss sort of solved that problem for him. Like he's not even using mana. Or a Boss, for your casino, are you still using mana to do transactions? It's just not on the Ethereum blockchain?
Yeah. So I still use Mana, but it's on this layer 2
Matic network, right?
subchain of Matic. So, but basically the way it works is like you do a deposit transaction from the main chain to Matic, and it means these new tokens that are mirrored to the main tokens that you deposited. Those get locked up in a contract, and then you're able to transact with the fast tokens on Matic, like within, and then the transaction time is like 1 to 2 seconds, and the gas price is 1,000th of the price, so it's like way cheaper. But there's also ways to, I can send you guys some documentation on it, but there's ways they essentially have Matic, they added like a snippet of code in the ERC20 contract of this token that's trustlessly mirrored to the main ERC20, and it allows you to create these proxy contracts that basically, if you're a developer, you can just load it up with gas, and then it just pays the gas for you. So then the user never has to pay gas. But the only problem with like using Matic, like you have to have users deposit to Matic from the main chain, and that obviously has to be done on some interface. So we did it on our site, and it kind of works for us just because, like, you know, people are used to depositing to a casino, you know, like to play.
Yeah.
But in reality, like for us, it's, you know, they're not really depositing to us particularly because it's non-custodial. They're depositing to the side chain. So yeah, but for like someone just walking around in world, it's kind of bad user experience because they have to like go to our website and then go back.
There he goes. So HP is joining now. He should be here in just a second. Just gotta load up.
Yo, what's up, HP?
The legend.
Can you hear us? You probably cannot hear us.
Maybe not.
Hey.
There he goes.
Hey,
HP.
What's up, dude?
We're so happy to have you, HP.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here too.
Thanks, brother.
So we only got 15 minutes with HP, so we're gonna grill you. How much is Decentraland paying you? How much? You know,
oh, you really going hot seat?
Oh, okay. No, I'm just kidding.
No, don't answer that.
Oh, man,
So it's
Oh,
my
man.
moment for negotiate my wage.
Yeah. No, so we were just talking about like the technical implementation that Matic like allows for that easier transaction flow. And so one of the things I wanted to ask you, HP, is like you seem to know like the underpinnings of how Decentraland really works. And one of the things you often say is the every time we see people in Decentraland, it's a peer-to-peer network. It's a P2P transaction when we see people. Can you? Is there a way for you to explain what that means exactly a little bit more for everyone listening?
Decentraland is peer-to-peer, especially for connection between player, not for transaction. And it means that when your character is moving, it's doing like with torrent. You are directly sending information from your computer to the other user computer without passing via a centralized system. So this has some advantage, like you have less ping as you don't have to pass through a third-party computer, but it has disadvantage. If you are connected to a lot of users, the number of open connection, as it's a mesh, it's become really high as there are more users connected. That's why for the moment there is a limit of 50 users per real.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
I think it's 50 user is really high for peer-to-peer connection. So we may have to think about other way to connect player if you want to have more than 50 player per realm. So it can still be decentralized or less distributed between different servers, but if we get more than 50 users, it will not be as decentralized that it is today.
Okay, so that's my question. If all the people that Frankie's seeing right now in the game world right now, let's say it was like 10 or 15 people, it's a peer-to-peer connection. So why not have all these people, looks like 20, but why not have all these people within a server instead of doing a peer-to-peer connection? Is this decision purely based on decentralization, or is there some other motivation behind that?
Yeah, it's mainly for decentralization, as if there is no server in between, there is no single point that can be shut down, and there is no real way to block you.
Okay. Okay. So now that we understand that this is purely for decentralization, I think one of our previous roundtables we were discussing like why are we spending a lot of time in Decentraland? Why all of us like so focused on Decentraland? And I think a lot of the reasons why we're here is mainly because of the decentralization. And so when it comes to like nefarious content showing up, HP, what can Decentraland like do anything about that, or is this like decentralized to a point where it's like a BitTorrent where if you upload files, the files is uploaded and that's you can access it if you want, but there's nothing you can do to like prevent anybody accessing that file. So what do you do in a situation when you have nefarious content being deployed in Decentraland if everything is actually decentralized?
First, I think it's easier to centralize something that's decentralized than to decentralize something that's centralized. So if we start with something totally decentralized, we can work some parts, maybe not centralized, but distribute some part across the catalyst server, for example. And I think we need to see it like just like torrent for the content server, and you can share any files on torrent, including protected files and not protected files.
Mhm.
And I think we need to find a way to do the same with Decentraland. And the fact that all the files are public is not a problem, I think, because even if the file itself is public, there is way to make the content private.
So if I deployed something in my parcel that is illegal, is there? So there, you're saying there is a way to prevent that illegal content from actually appearing in Decentraland?
Yes, each Catalyst owner can make a transaction with its Ethereum address that's registered on the DAO to block a specific hash that was uploaded.
Interesting.
So this have some advantage. You can quite easily block content and do it quickly, but it has a disadvantage that you have to do a manual action for each of it, and hash can be changed just by changing a single bit of a file. So if someone want to upload a lot of illegal content, he can just upload it, change a byte. He will get a new hash and just re-upload it with a different hash.
Okay, so you're saying that the DAO has the ability to block content by
each user. Each Catalyst owner can do it individually.
Oh, I see.
And is a node.
Okay.
Yeah, so you guys better be nice to me in HP.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, that's
but I think the other ones will pick up the slack though, right? I mean, it has to be like each Catalyst owner can block their own, but obviously the other ones would have to block theirs manually too, right, HP?
Yeah.
So then you could have a Catalyst supporting nefarious content. It's just the DAO would say, okay, that Catalyst needs to go, and so you somehow how do you cut off a Catalyst?
You just have to go to the Aragon web page and start a vote to remove it from the list.
Okay.
And the client, the Decentraland Explorer, will automatically remove this server from the server it's trying to connect at launch.
Okay, so then if it's actually decentralized, it's like BitTorrent has, or not BitTorrent, but like many of these pirating websites like Pirate Bay and all those, they've been taken down numerous times. Like every single year they get taken down pretty much. But somebody always spins another, like it's either in Taiwan or it's hosted in like another country, but it's always coming up. So I would imagine that the server that is running this stuff, they could just get a new server, right? A new IP address and just run it again. And like, you just have to manually cut them off again, right? Like it's just,
yeah. Especially it's really easy to start a node. Everything is in Docker. So with like less than 10 commands, you can start a Catalyst node really easily.
Yeah. Okay. No, I ask only to understand, like, what, Decentraland is going to look like in 10 years, because just like any other website, like pirating stuff, like I expect to see that in Decentraland. And so I'm just trying to visualize what the activity is going to be for like all these Catalysts, and the DAO too. So yeah, that was very helpful, HP. I appreciate that.
HP, how close are you to making video streaming work in World? I know you had those videos out, and I posted one of them on Twitter. How close were you and James to getting that to work today in World?
Actually, we can already make it work, but there's some really big difficulties.
Okay.
Mainly that each stream can be up to an audio stream is 128 kilobytes per second. So it's quite light when you have to propagate it to hundreds of clients. But a video stream is between 2 and 5 megabytes a second. So if you have, let's say, 100 clients watching, you need 300 megabytes constant and stable. So this is the biggest issue for the moment. It's to find a way to reliably distribute videos to so much people. So all the video features, the video streaming is already deployed to Decentraland, so we could use it today. I think if you go to my parcel, you might be able to see it live right now. It's minus 125, minus 77. I might have to restart something to get it work.
Okay. And then someone was
25.
asking me.
Yeah.
And then someone was asking me today on Twitter, how many video screens could you have per parcel? Is it just a triangle limit, or is it that loading limit, or what would be restricting you from having 10 screens, if anything?
It's mainly a performance issue. Each screen is quite heavy on performance. So, for example, with a single 720p stream, you lose about 10 FPS.
Okay.
So it's quite heavy, and that's the main limit for the number of screen you can have on a land.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So I had another question, another technical question for you, HP. Wearables. All right. So the community, let's say they make thousands of wearables, every month, whatever it is, doesn't matter.
We made it 90 minutes, Will.
Yeah, I know, right?
With no wearables talk. No, go ahead.
So the question is like, with all this like custom content, does the client have to download every single wearable like visual content? Like isn't there some technical limitation to having so many wearables out there? Like you couldn't have a million different wearables, could you?
It's download when you launch a client. Your client will just download a list of available wearables, but it will not download every single models. It will download model only when a character is present in the world with it wearing it. So you're not downloading every single wearable at each client start.
So let's say you have a catalyst and there's 50 people. So you're only downloading the 50 wearables that people are wearing at the moment?
Yeah, but each people can wear up to 5 or 6 different wearables at the same time. So you may end up downloading 300 different files.
Oh.
Wow.
So how does that work? Like, all right, I've got like, you're saying I've got 5 wearables that I can load up. Oh, you're saying on my character itself. So you're talking about shoes, pants, that type thing? All right.
That's going to be interesting. Like in a developed Decentraland world, you're going to be down every time you get into Decentraland, you're going to be downloading roughly 300 unique wearables every time you load in, right? So could present an issue, right? It could.
Yeah, but if we get alternative client or even a native client with Unity, we could have that as it's static content and it will not change. We can download that on the computer, so you don't have to do HTTP request each time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's why it takes a little while when you're switching clothes. Like it has to load, right? It has to go pull the file and.
Yeah, and when you change clothes, it's also uploaded to the Catalyst server. So all the clothes change are uploaded to all Catalyst server, and so yeah, you are doing the same when you change clothes. That when you upload the content to your land. So you send the hash to the server with some file. You upload some file to the Catalyst server when you change variables. So, for example, you can check a website status.kilian.me, I think, and you can see people changing wearables in real time. You can see the list of the last updates that were made to characters.
So then the same thing applies with emotes. Like once the community can start making emotes, I think you have a maximum of 4 emotes that you can have ready at any one point in time, right?
I'm not sure about that. I think we can just change the UI to make more available.
Sure. Yeah, because then you can map each emote to, let's say, 9 numbers, right? 10 numbers.
Yeah.
And it's just moving your arm from point A to point B for a given animation. So there wouldn't be a whole lot to download for an emote, right?
Yeah. I think it may be like 5 or 10 kilobytes, but it adds up quite quickly. And then, for example, we can do like World of Warcraft or MMORPG with shortcuts. So we can do like Shift 1, Control 1, Alt 1 to get more wearable, for example.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, that covers all my technical questions.
I do have one, HP. I had seen somebody on Twitter, and I know Maddie had brought this up to me as he heard from somebody talking about taking the code from GitHub and making their own cheap land somewhere. What are the implications of that, or what is that even possible?
Yes. So everything in Decentraland is open source. At least everything that you need to run the land. And you can just start a new smart contract, like all the smart contract of Decentraland, including the land smart contract, is open source. So you can just redeploy it yourself and create your own land. But it will not interfere with Decentraland land. It will be 2 different worlds.
All right. So do you think that would be detrimental to Decentraland, or think it'd be fine?
It would be fine. Second Life has the same issue. You can create alternative worlds, except with Second Life, you have to. The source code of the Second Life server is not open source, so they had to do it themselves. But there is some client, and you can access multiple different servers. With where the land has different price, or even world with free land, and that's totally fine, I think.
Yeah.
So the final question for HP to close this conversation out. It's a deep one. It's a big one. All right, here we go. Are you team SDK or team builder, HP?
I never used the builder since it was released, officially released. Since
I ain't going nowhere
since the
near that builder.
contest,
That's what it is.
I never used it.
Is there any reason why? Like, what are your thoughts as to why you stick with SDK instead of the builder?
I'm just more efficient with SDK, and everything I need to do is available with SDK.
Do you think Decentraland is going to be built out with the SDK or the builder?
I think both are okay. As we get more smart item, it will allow for more developed builder sense. But the SDK will always be at the edge of the features, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you have it. Team SDK. All
Yes.
You heard
across
it
the board.
Yeah. All right. What was that? Builder? Did I hear builder?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just not smart enough to use the SDK.
No, that was a good conversation. I appreciate you joining us, HP. I know it's a little early for you, so I appreciate
Yeah, I'm sorry I wasn't able to join earlier.
It's all good, man. All good.
All good.
So Frankie, you want to carry us out of here?
Yeah, man. I really appreciate everybody coming through. HP, I appreciate you for setting this up because this whole situation is impossible without HP. So,
That's right.
you know, because I'm
Everybody-
definitely not
everybody
smart enough to
come
do any of this shit. But I really appreciate all of y'all coming through. I appreciate Balls for sponsoring with the Tamanoia Casino and Decentral Games. Will for being just my guy who's walked me through Decentraland from day one. Interact and OpenFT for coming and always being like just up on the community and helping out. And just like literally this is just going a certain way that I really appreciate. So I always got to say just thank you very much for coming out and thanks for, you know, listening and checking it out, you know.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate you guys coming as well.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in a
Also,
week.
One more thing, if you want to stick around and listen to the Andrew Steinwell interview with Whale Shark, please do. I'm going to start it as soon as I get off of this.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
All right, take it easy, guys. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.